can already see how this thing looks in my head. This is great. Need a hand, Spider-Man? The figure asked. Oh, it's so cool. Okay. All right, welcome to a new video. Today, I thought it would be fun to potentially write scenes or just freaking see what we could come up for a potential MCU Spider-Man 4 using AI, specifically ChatGPT. So if you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's like Google, but you can ask it questions and it'll just give you a response that will just kind of blow your mind. So I have it up right here. As you can see, here are some examples that you can ask it. So if I were to ask it, why is Spider-Man more popular than Batman? And then you just enter and then it will give you a response. There are many factors that contribute to the relative popularity of Spider-Man and Batman. Some reasons why Spider-Man may be popular include his relatable origin story, his youthfulness, his charismatic alter ego Peter Parker, yada yada yada. You get the idea. So we're gonna make a new chat here. So Spider-Man 4, as you know, we all wait for it. After the success of No Way Home, everyone's waiting. Everyone's thinking about, okay, where could they go for Spider-Man 4? What will it be about? Many of you know that the beloved fan favorite Daredevil, Matt Murdock, was in that film, played by the talented Charlie Cox, is getting his own spin-off series in the MCU. Not that his previous show wasn't canon to the MCU, it was kind of loosely canon, but it was still canon. This time it's gonna be set directly in the MCU and I'm very excited for it. There are rumors at the moment that show, Daredevil Born Again, will tie into Spider-Man 4, and Spider-Man 4, MCU Spider-Man 4, will be a grounded film, much more like the first Homecoming movie. I mean, that one was pretty grounded. Far From Home was a little bit, the stakes were higher, the scale just got bigger and bigger after Homecoming. So that's why with No Way Home, it deals with the multiverse. But I think we're gonna go back to ground, street robbing, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4, where it'll still be dark in some aspects, I feel like, because Peter has nobody at the moment and his life has just kind of reset. So I think it'll be fun to see what ChatGPT can come up with as far as just kind of where could his life be, where could he be at in his life, and I think we could come up with some really cool ideas. So we all know that Daredevil will most likely be in it. There are rumors with Kingpin, he might also appear in it. I know Vincent D'Onofrio, the actor who plays Kingpin, has stated that he would love to fight Spider-Man, he would love to work with Tom Holland, have those characters on screen together, because we never gotten that before except for the comics, of course. So let us try and just think of something on the spot. Okay, so I can imagine that Peter is just going about being Spider-Man now. He is just doing what he, has done before, and that's never stopped him. He knows that the city still needs him. It would be great to kind of follow in the beginning of the film where it kind of opens up with stopping street crime. That's what he is all about, being there for the little guy. Write me a scene with Spider-Man stopping crime in New York City. Let's see, he's stopping crime, he's going about his business, and then let's have Daredevil randomly appear, and I think that would get everyone hyped in the beginning of the film. And randomly Daredevil appears and asks Spider-Man if he needs any help. I feel like that's something Matt would say. It's kind of like an icebreaker. I think Peter, he's got this, but I feel like Matt would, oh, you need any help? Oh, okay. The cool thing about this is that Peter already knows who Matt Murdock is.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Everyone else forgot who Spider-Man was. They forgot who Peter Parker is. They forgot him, right? But I think it would be a really cool dynamic if Peter still remembers, obviously still remembers. He knows that Matt is Daredevil. So it'd be kind of like a weird, a little, I don't know, interesting dynamic. I know who you are, but you don't know who I am. So it'll be kind of interesting how they play with that, if they go that route. And ask Spider-Man if he needs any help. Spider-Man says, no, I'm all good. Who are you? Who are you though? And Daredevil, let's see, Daredevil explains who he is. And let's say one robber tries to get away while they are talking, and Daredevil throws one of his batons and it goes flying past Spider-Man's head, and he dodges it, and it hits it knocks out the robber. All right, so I feel like that's kind of like a cool beginning scene. You have Spider-Man stopping crime, and then out of the nowhere, Daredevil appears up, wants to talk to him, wants to see what he's all about. I feel like this would be their first encounter all over again, because Daredevil forgot who he was, so it would be very interesting how they do it again. Let's see what this looks like. All right, let's see what it cooks up. Spider-Man swung through the streets of New York City, his spider sense alerting him to a robbery in progress at a local jewelry store. A jewelry store, this is perfect. He quickly arrived on the scene using his web-slinging abilities to disarm the robbers and subdued them. I can already see how this thing looks in my head. This is great. As he was about to make his escape, a figure dressed in red and black appeared out of nowhere. Need a hand, Spider-Man? The figure asked. Oh, it's so cool. Okay. Spider-Man turned to face the newcomer, surprised. No, I'm good, but who are you? The figure revealed himself to be Daredevil, the man without fear. I'm Daredevil, the protector of Hell's Kitchen. I heard the robbery, and I heard. The thing about ChatGPT is that it scours the internet for information, and it kind of puts it into its own responses. And so the fact that it said, Matt said, I heard about the robbery, because obviously that's Matt Murdock's thing. Like, he hears things, his heightened senses and whatnot. So that's a really cool detail. I think that the AI got down pretty well. I heard about the robbery, and I figured I'd lend a hand. As they were talking, one of the robbers tried to make a break for it. Daredevil quickly pulled out one of his batons and threw it at the escaping criminal. The baton flew past Spider-Man's head, but he expertly dodged it. The baton continued on its trajectory, striking the robber in the back of the head and knocking him out cold. Oh my god, that'd be such a dope freaking scene right there. Daredevil, Matt Murdock just being a total badass that he already is. I think that's really great. Spider-Man was impressed. Nice shot, Daredevil. Thanks for the assist. Daredevil grinned. Anytime, Spider-Man. It's always good to have a partner in crime fighting. The two heroes then worked together to secure the scene and hand the robbers over to the police. As they parted ways, Spider-Man couldn't help but feel a sense of camaraderie with Daredevil. He knew that he could always count on the man without fear to have his back. That is freaking amazing. I mean, that's just a really cool introduction opening scene. I think it gets right to the point. Spider-Man, Peter is still doing his thing, stopping crime, get straight to the action. We're just with him. We're in his life now. This is what he's doing. And then all of a sudden a Daredevil appears. And I think these two being the main focus of the movie will be great, since that's currently what the rumor is. Let's go ahead and write another scene out. I think we should have something with Kingpin next. I'm just going based off the rumors here. So I think, to me, a story about Spider-Man trying to stop the Kingpin from selling weapons. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head and kind of just figuring out like, okay, Kingpin would probably do this, he'd probably do that. I'm just going based off his character and what his character would do. So, and then, we're just going to leave it up to the AI to kind of figure out like, okay, well, you gave me this, then I'm going to give you this. Kind of receive and send type of thing. So let's see. Write me a story about Spider-Man trying to stop the Kingpin from selling weapons and drugs, because that's what crime lords do. Selling weapons and drugs. Write in Daredevil as a side character. He helps Spider-Man try to stop Kingpin. Oops, I'm butchering everything. Tries to stop Kingpin because Daredevil knows and has a past with him. So he tells Spider-Man, you will need my help taking him down. If we want to up the stakes here and go pretty dark, we should have Kingpin have someone that Peter knows. Let's say it's a person from college. I would imagine that Peter is in college now, and he's still trying to go that route, become older, become more wiser. So I feel like he would go to, I remember one of the rumors saying that, or not rumors, but more specifically like how we would want to introduce new characters through the college element, whether that be Harry Osborn or Gwen Stacy, and Peter would meet these two or meet one of them. So I think if we want to up the stakes here, here, Kingpin also has a hostage who ends up being, let's say, Gwen Stacy. Sorry, Gwen, I have to put you through this. If Spider-Man doesn't reveal himself, Kingpin will... One thing about ChatGPT is that they're very sensitive to certain words that relate to not being alive anymore. So I think if we want to dial it down, we can say Kingpin will kidnap her, even though he already did kidnap her. So I feel like that'd be kind of weird to say. Will take her out of New York City. We should leave it up to ChatGPT of whether or not if Spider-Man reveals his identity or not to Kingpin in order to save Gwen. It would be kind of crazy. So I think that's pretty good. Let's see what it comes up with. It's thinking. Ooh boy, this is gonna be interesting. Now obviously this is not supposed to be like straight, this is how it's gonna look, but it's kind of an overall general idea. All right, so we have, Spider-Man had been tracking the Kingpin for weeks, trying to put an end to his illegal arms and drug trafficking operation, but the Kingpin was a powerful and dangerous criminal, and Spider-Man knew he couldn't take him down alone. That's when Daredevil entered the picture. The man without fear had a personal vendetta against the Kingpin and was more willing to help Spider-Man take him down. I know the Kingpin better than anyone, Daredevil told Spider-Man. You'll need my help to take him down. Spider-Man was hesitant at first, but he knew Daredevil experience and knowledge would be invaluable in their mission. Together, they began to gather evidence and track the Kingpin's movements, looking for a way to take him down. Just as they were closing in on the target, they received a call from Gwen Stacy, one of Spider-Man's closest friends. She had been kidnapped by the Kingpin, who was using her as leverage to keep Spider-Man from getting too close. If you want to see your friend again, the Kingpin said, you'll stay away from me and my operation. If you don't, she'll be gone from New York City forever. Spider-Man knew that he couldn't let that happen. He couldn't stand by and watch Gwen be taken away from him. With Daredevil by his side, he devised a plan to take down the Kingpin once and for all. They struck at night. This is dope. I like how it's already at nighttime, and I feel like that's kind of where it'd be heading anyways. A traditional Spider-Man ending always takes place at nighttime. They struck at night when Kingpin was at his most vulnerable. Spider-Man used his web-slinging abilities to infiltrate the Kingpin's stronghold, while Daredevil used his heightened senses to navigate the dark and maze-like building. Together, they fought their way through Kingpin's henchmen, determined to put an end to his reign of terror. Together, they fought their way through Kingpin's henchmen, determined to put an end to his reign of terror. Finally, they reached the Kingpin's inner sanctum, where Gwen was being held. The Kingpin was there, surrounded by his most loyal guards, but he was no match for the combined might of Spider-Man and Daredevil. Alright, in the ensuing fight, Spider-Man and Daredevil took out the Kingpin's guards one by one while keeping Gwen safe. Eventually, they were able to take down the Kingpin and free Gwen. With Kingpin behind bars and Gwen safe, Spider-Man and Daredevil knew that they had accomplished what they had set to do. They had put an end to Kingpin's criminals' empire and saved Gwen from a terrible fate. As they walked away from the scene, Daredevil turned to Spider-Man and said, "We make a pretty good team, don't we?" Spider-Man couldn't help but agree. He knew that he could always count on Daredevil to have his back no matter what challenges lie ahead. This is mind-blowing. It's so well, it's not perfect, but it kind of gives you a general layout of how something would look like. And the fact that this is just a computer doing this, it just kind of blows my mind. So when I was reading all of this, I was just kind of picturing what it would actually look like. This would make great for the next Spider-Man film, specifically with these two and Kingpin involved. I think everyone would go berserk if this was actually what it was about, hence the rumors. So we have the opening scene here. We have Spider-Man is doing his daily crimes, if you want to call it that, and then Daredevil comes in out of nowhere. And then later on in the story, Peter is trying to track down the Kingpin. He's the crime lord of New York City, and he's back out on the streets doing what he does best. And Spider-Man wants to try and stop him, wants to try and take this guy down. So I think this is pretty good so far. It's just like, wow, an AI wrote all of this. For any people who are starting to write, or let's say short films, or any films in general, I don't think it's a bad idea to try and use this as leverage, I would say. But I wouldn't go as far as copying it word for word, because it is not perfect. The writing it's okay. It's not the best, but it does give you a general layout, and you can go based off what the AI gives you, put your own spin to it, your own sling. if you will. I feel like ChatGPT, it's really great for stuff like this, for film writing, or dialogue scenes, if you just kind of want to get like a general idea like how to go about a scene or anything like that. But like I said, I wouldn't go too far as, oh, it wrote me a whole dialogue scene, I'm just gonna use that. Because I mean, you can if you want, but then you wouldn't really be able to call it your own. I feel like this is like the easiest way to kind of digress and give a certain image into people's heads of like, okay, this is how it would look like, this is how it would start, this is kind of the story of how the writers would maybe write it based off the rumors. I would be so down for this because we've never had Spider-Man and Daredevil on screen together in the suits, respectively. In the suits, we've got it once, but can we get it twice? And Marvel, they hear us, they know the fans, they know the rumors. This would be great for a grounded Spider-Man film. You know, I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think it's okay to step away from the multiverse and all of this crazy stuff that's going on with, I think it's time that we go back to groundedness. I think it's time that we have certain stories like this, the dark, the gritty, the groundedness. All right, guys, so I think that'll be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think of how the AI kind of handled the prompts that I gave it, all the details I told it to include. Did you guys like what the AI came up with? Did you guys like the whole concept in general? Do you guys have any other ideas of how you would want Spider-Man 4 to play out? That's it for the video. I will catch you all later. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
But there is one thing you do need to know. Behind this mask is the face of a friend and a lifelong partner in your war against Kingpin.
Thanks.